Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Look at that. Boom, boom, pow. You're making Gotham great again. I've talked about this with Vacant. We've talked about it on Government Secrets. I've said it numerous times on this show. There is a looming eviction crisis coming to this country very soon. But I also got sent an article from Steph Samarano from the Jimmy Dore Show, miserable liberal, on an interesting solution using hotels. But first, let's just get into the numbers real quick here. How the eviction crisis across the U.S. will look. This was in CNBC, came out Monday the 27th. And basically, they just put up this map. So this is a map that you can kind of see the continental United States, and they just did every state. Renter households unable to pay rent and at risk of eviction as a share of total renter households. This is no joke, man. So I know it's tight in there, but 37% of Alaska facing eviction. Wisconsin, 34%. New York, 46%. Mississippi, 55%. Louisiana, 50%. Texas, 48%. Tennessee, 58%. West Virginia, 59%. Hawaii, 34%. California, 37%. Utah, 29%. Minnesota, 29%. Florida, 51%. There are only 1, 2, 3. There are only 3 states with less than 30%. There are only 3 states. Most of them are in the mid-30s. There's a bunch in the 40s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states in the 50 percentile. 5 states in the 50 percentile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do the number of states that are in the 40 percentile and up, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Over half of the states in the country have 40 to almost 60% are on the brink of eviction. There are no states under 20%. None. 22% is the lowest percentage in Vermont. And the states with big population centers, there's no difference between red and blue states, kids. Look at these reddest of red states: Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Alabama, all in the 40s and 50s. Same thing with the blue states. There's no difference. This is big. This is a huge, this is coming. But there's a decent solution. People are about to be pushed into homelessness on a large scale. Hotels are key to keeping them off the streets. Now, this is specifically just to Los Angeles County, but I guarantee you what this article is going to get into, and it's something I've talked about, is look, traveling, the tourism industry is crushed. People aren't, even people that are like, okay, we're going to just drive to different places. The hotels are, so I live in Santa Monica, California. There are a bunch of hotels in this city, a bunch of really high-end hotels right on the beach. These are hotels that before COVID had 80% occupancy year-round. In the summertime, they're booked every day. I know people that used to work in those hotels. And like in the height of the summer right now, July, for $500 a night, you could get a little room that faced a garbage dump. You know what I mean? And if you have a view of the ocean, it's 1,000. I mean, it's crazy. They're all at well below capacity. I mean, they're probably at 20% capacity, maybe 30% capacity. So this is what this article gets into. Tens of thousands of potential people in Los Angeles County are at high risk for becoming homeless after the temporary halt on evictions is lifted, one of the largest mass displacements the region has ever seen. Again, this is just specific to Los Angeles, but as we just saw on this map, this solution could work everywhere, right? And you know what? I've traveled all over this country. There's little hotels all over the country. I've stayed in small towns, and all they have is like a Hampton Inn or a Courtyard by Marriott or whatever. I doubt there's none of those are even close. They're not even close to half filled. There are over 100,000 hotel and motel rooms in Los Angeles County that serve tourists. Hotel industry estimates indicate that, given the downturn in the global tourist industry, around 70,000 of these rooms will lie vacant for several years to come. That's roughly 70% vacancy. This is just, and they're getting subsidies. That's what this article goes into. The hotel industry has gotten subsidies from the CARES Act. Well, then let's put people in those rooms and charge them a very small amount of rent. You know, rather than the $2,000 a month they were paying for their apartment or whatever, it's $500 or something reasonable like that. The hotels are getting money. The people have a place to stay. The staff at the hotel can keep working. See, it helps the economy. Putting people on the street is not good for the economy. But look at all this. This is just some big hotels in mainly downtown. Some of the big hotels in Los Angeles. Not just some of these are downtown, but some of these are around the city, right? Just to give you an idea, right? So the JW Marriott Ritz-Carlton is a big hotel in downtown Los Angeles. It's across the street from the Staples Center where the Lakers and the Clippers and the Sparks and the Kings play, right? They got 1,000 rooms. They're getting $270 million in subsidies. So you could put all these people in there. You can put all those people in there. And that is what is critical. And this article was in theappeal.org, and I'll put the in the show notes, right? And the public already has a stake in the county's hotels. A chunk of these vacant rooms are publicly subsidized hotels, or hotels whose development has relied on public sector investments, financial incentives, tax rebates, and deferrals, as well as land assembly through eminent domain and redevelopment. Just in downtown Los Angeles, the financial costs of such subsidies amounted to $1 billion between 2005 and 2018. Taxpayer money. And the city has committed at least $114 million more since then in poorly negotiated deals. These numbers, of course, do not include the incalculable human cost of displacement, nor the impact of diverting these resources away from the provision of housing, schools, libraries, parks, and other necessities that LA's working class communities of color sorely lack. Increasingly unaffordable, over-policed neighborhoods, the largest subsidy, a whopping $270 million for Ritz-Carlton, I had that up there, and JW Marriott was gifted to AEG, that's the company that owns all this, to create 1,000 rooms, representing roughly 1% of the overall county stock. At the same time, many of our local officials are embroiled in obscene developer-driven corruption scandals, in addition to the influence that developers openly wield at City Hall, where homelessness and housing in Los Angeles, as other U.S. cities, publicly subsidized hotel development has been underwritten by what urban studies scholars have called geo-bribes, largesse from public coffers distributed to corporations and real estate developers in the rarely met hope of spurning economic benefits. Accompanying such subsidies has been institutional forms of displacement and social cleansing, from business development districts to zero-tolerance policing. It's time to redirect these funds. It's all out of whack. I was just driving today. Big luxury high-rise buildings going up where I live. Who's going to afford that? California is going to have 34% of its population is going to get evicted? And they're going to move into more expensive apartments? Well, you're going to have a one bedroom for $5,000? What are you going to have, 7 roommates? Like, California Project Roomkey is both a statewide and local program to use vacant tourist hotels and motels as shelter for people experiencing homelessness during the pandemic. In Minneapolis, amid the protests following the murder of George Floyd, who himself worked as a security guard in the state's largest homeless shelter, the unhoused came together to create a community in a vacant Minneapolis Sheraton hotel. I've talked about the Housing First program that they did in Finland and also in Utah, where Finland had a bad homeless program about 10 years ago. And they realized the old way of like housing, getting people, trying to get them jobs or whatever, homeless people are caught in a loop, right? They need an address to apply for a job. And they can't get an apartment unless they have a job. So they're caught in this loop, right? So they decided to go, we're going to give the homeless housing first. Get them. And then if they're job training, drug treatment, all this stuff, 4 out of 5 people got off the street. Now that's a homeless population. So they gave people housing first. That's dealing with the homeless population. Again, they got 80% of the people off the streets and back integrated into society. If we don't do anything with the eviction crisis, our homeless population is going to quintuple. You've got vacant hotels, you've got vacant apartments. The government needs to come in, subsidize it, whatever, make the rents crazy affordable, and let people live there so they can get back on their feet. Because all this homeless is going to be, crime's going to go up. It's going to cost the city more in cleanup and crime prevention. Anyone will tell you, in that Housing First program in Finland, they calculated it costs less money than the old way. Sending the cops, clean it out, there's a fight, there's a thing, there's garbage to be cleaned up, whatever. All that stuff costs money. Giving people a home and dignity and compassion actually costs less. The relationship between property and housing is a complex one. From indigenous dispossession to financial speculation, it has been a key logic of inequity in the United States. But the vacancy and indebtedness of property presents an opening to reconsider its use and ownership for social purpose, housing. This ain't going away, so we better address it, because this is coming. Next week is August 1st. The $600 just ended. The pandemic insurance, just the unemployment, the extra $600, that just ended. Steve Mnuchin doesn't want people just sitting at home. Oh, really? Thanks, Steve. He was too busy stealing homes? You greasy pimp. Like, Rodney Dangerfield's character in Caddyshack had more class than Steve Mnuchin. This is coming. People better deal with this. The federal and local governments better deal with this, and it's just going to have to go, hey, and it's a win-win. The hotel thing wins. Keeps people off the streets. It keeps the hotel industry going. Because right now, any hotel will tell you 70% vacancy is not helping the hotel industry. That means they got to lay staff off, the people to clean it, the housekeeping, the janitor, all that stuff, the maintenance people. They all lose jobs when hotels have 70% vacancy. Here's the solution. Thanks for watching the show, folks. I don't know if they're going to talk about this on corporate media. Support everything I do so I can keep talking about this. Boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.